Hello, everyone. Lisa Sabaniak here from lifelikeyoumeanit.com. And today I'd like to talk to you about something very deep, very spiritual as we go through this coronavirus outbreak. It's the way that I look at things, it's the way that I get through struggles in my life, not just with coronavirus, but it's the main thing that helped me get through 10 years of child abuse and everything that I did afterwards in order to try to come to terms with the person that I had become because of that abuse and turn into the person that I really wanted to be. And that is spirituality. Whether you believe in a God or universal energy, it makes no difference, really. To me, I made a choice to believe that there is a higher power, to believe in energy that is all around us. Now, I have a science background, and so I know that scientifically speaking, there is energy all around us, that everything, including all our inanimate objects, are vibrating with energy. This bookshelf behind me, the chair that I'm sitting on, the clothes on my back are all vibrating. And of course, I am vibrating, as are you, and every single thing that you can see, hear, and touch are all vibrating with energy. So for me, it wasn't a big stretch for me to start thinking about there being a universal energy and that we are all part of that energy. And the bottom line is it's not hurting anybody for me to believe in that. So those who don't believe in that, I honor you as much as I honor myself, because we all need to believe in whatever is going to work for us. But let me just share with you how I use this belief about universal energy and about us all being one to get through something like coronavirus and this huge struggle that we are all facing right now with a change of lifestyle on one end, on the lower end of the spectrum, all the way up to, perhaps losing jobs, losing incomes, losing homes, losing loved ones on the other end of the spectrum. And that is that with a belief in a higher power, in a universal energy, and the belief that we are all part of that energy means that we are all equal. So when I talk about a higher power, I don't mean that there's something above us that is greater than us, but more that that is kind of a central hub from which we all disseminate from. And that's really important for me and my perspective of things, because it doesn't mean that when I go through difficult times that something is lording over me. It doesn't mean that I'm being punished for something. I look at myself as part of the greater collective, and I look at what opportunity can be here for me in this moment. Now, I also believe in reincarnation. I do believe that because energy cannot be created or destroyed, we know that in science, and that our particles in our body have energy. I believe that when we physically die, that the energy that is in our body, some of that energy is able to actually continue on in a different form that is just outside of our conscious awareness, that we're not able to actually see and understand at this level, the human level. And so I believe then that this soul then is able to process everything that happened in our lives while we were living and weigh that up against what it is that we came here hoping to achieve. And I believe that we all have a purpose in life. And I believe that to some extent, that purpose is something that we decide ahead of time before we reincarnate. I also believe that part of finding that greater purpose is actually part of the challenge of being here, that we have free will and we are open to be able to choose what that purpose is in this life, so that it's not predetermined. But if we go back a bit to the idea, the concept of us choosing to reincarnate at a specific time, because we're setting ourselves up for the exact sequence of events that we need in order to have the greatest shot of achieving our goal. And I believe that we all have a common goal, which is evolution, right? To evolve ourselves as humans, is evolve ourselves as an energy force, and help to evolve the planet and everything that is on the planet. And so I think that that could very possibly be the overarching goal that all of us come to Earth for when we are reincarnating. And then once we're here, we decide on our very specific purpose, on how we are going to go about using our unique talents in order to do that, in order to help others and ourselves and the planet and everything else on it to evolve. There's been no greater time in our lifetime where we have seen change to this magnitude and affecting this many people, right? Practically every single person on this planet, which means this is a very special time. I understand that there are a lot of people who are going to be really utterly destroyed during this time, mentally, emotionally, and perhaps even physically, right? People who will lose loved ones, who will lose their job, their income, their homes, their families, right? There will be a lot of loss. So I don't mean in this video to trivialize that at all, or to make it seem like anybody, no matter what they're going through, can just shift their mindset just like that. But it's because of this big realm that we are going through, this big difference in how this coronavirus is impacting our lives, from some people who have to just adjust to working from home, still able to make a healthy income, and yet perhaps suffering with debilitating anxiety because of the coronavirus outbreak. And then you might have some people that are really going through a lot of financial difficulties and even health difficulties, who are actually able to remain positive and to be looking at this as a challenge that they are going to come on top from. It's all relative, right? Just like anything else in life that we're experiencing. So it's important for us to not be comparing, right? That if you're experiencing anxiety, to not be comparing yourself to what your physical circumstances are compared to the next person, and then putting yourself down for feeling the way that you do when you don't have it as hard as somebody else. But regardless of how hard you have it and how impactful this event is on your life, it doesn't escape me that there are over 7 billion people on this planet that, for the most part, are all going through some sort of impact from this virus, from this outbreak. And to me, that means that those 7 billion souls, the energy that came from our midpoint, from that collective, from that universal energy, the higher power, if you will, that all of us have disseminated from, we have all made a choice to be here living this life right now in this moment. I'm not necessarily saying that before we reincarnate, we're able to actually visualize and see like a crystal ball everything that's going to happen while we are here. But I do believe that we have a general understanding of what will be thrown at us, and that this is perfect for what it is that we want to achieve in this life. That we choose the parents, for example, that we will be born to, that will set out our home life and our early existence and the lessons that we learn, right? And that really helped me get through my whole child abuse experience, because that was a 10-year stretch from the age of 2 until 12. And so that thinking along those ways actually allowed me to gain my power back. It was a very empowering moment to realize that I would have chosen to be born to that mom and that dad. And while neither of those were the ones that actually did the abuse, and while there were lots of choices that happened along the way for them to then put the whole situation in play for me to be exposed to my abuser, and that is not necessarily anything that we could have foreseen, that I could have known exactly what would happen. looking at who my parents were at that time of my birth was already setting me up for some challenges. And so that, believe it or not, actually gives me a lot of power back to realize that that's what I wanted to face, was some sort of challenge in my early years, perhaps not knowing what that challenge was going to be, but that it would exist, and that that would help me, put me on my path, show me my purpose, allow me to achieve my goal. And now here we all are. I'm 45, about to turn 46, right? So all these years later, after going through that abuse and recovering from it and shifting my perspective on how I look at it, I'm now sitting here feeling the impacts of such a tremendous event like coronavirus. And it really doesn't escape me that I have chosen to be here, to be experiencing this event impacting so many lives and the planet itself, that I chose to be living during this time. And that again fills me with empowerment to make me determined that I am going to do something about this, that I'm going to allow myself to actually heal and grow and learn from this and come out the other side even better than I was before, and being able to be on my path and helping me to reach that purpose, reaching that ultimate goal. How I'm going to do that is probably going to look very different from how other people will do that, because we are all unique in that way. But we all have that same choice to either look at this as a powerful moment, a shifting moment that we have control over, or to fall prey to the vulnerability and feel like we have no control over anything and not come out the other side on our right path, fulfilling our purpose, reaching our goal. I hope that that was helpful for all of you that are listening and watching. Bless. Until next time.